welcome to lesson 2 in our Small Business Marketing 101 series. My name is Stephanie and I'm a digital marketer, consultant, and founder of Motari Media, a business that was born out of a desire to help immigrant small business owners with marketing their businesses. This is a new channel, so if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let's go. Today, we're looking at setting goals. Last week, we looked at why digital marketing is important. So if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to link it down below. Make sure you check that out. Pause this video and go watch that one. It's about a minute, and then come back to this one. I started as a small business owner and an entrepreneur 2 years ago. I started my candle company making scented products, and I sold out within a month. This was absolutely amazing, and I got to feature at the local radio station CBC PEI, and I also got a grant from the PEI Business Women's Association. But I knew that it wasn't sustainable because I knew nothing about running a business and definitely knew nothing about marketing. And so I decided to go to school for digital marketing. Starting a small business can be very tasking and difficult, but with the right knowledge and resources, you'll be able to scale your business. I want to give you 3 key things to consider when setting goals. The first one is there's a difference between business goals and marketing goals. So although this is a small business marketing course, it's very impossible, it's pretty much impossible to have marketing goals without having business goals, because your marketing goals will be informed by what it is you want to accomplish as a business overall. Your business goals encompass all the goals that you want to achieve in the different departments of your business, whereas a marketing goal has to do with what you want to achieve in the marketing department of your business. So think of the business goal as the overarching goal that you want to accomplish, and then the marketing goal falls under that. Secondly, sometimes we tend to think that because we're small business owners and basically it's a one-man team, you don't have different departments, but that's a myth. Every small business has different departments. It's just that you're the head of all the departments, but those different departments do exist. So you have your sales and marketing department, you have your customer service department, you have your tech department. If you're a product-based business, you have a product development department. Basically, you have different departments. In setting goals, this will come in handy because you will be thinking of your business based on these different departments. Thirdly, setting goals is more than what you feel you want to achieve. So for example, say you just started your business this month and your goal for 1 year is to earn $1 million. I don't know if that's realistic, not to say it's impossible, but chances are as a small business, that's very unrealistic. Except it's in a different currency, which I'm pretty sure it isn't. But my point being, in setting goals, you want to have done quite a bit of research. So your goals don't just come from what I hope to achieve or what I wish to achieve, but it will come from a lot of research you've done on your industry, on your target audience, on your competitors. These are all things that you would have already done when putting together your business strategy. But say you haven't done it, go do it now. Honestly, this is something that takes quite a bit of time, but the research is very important to make sure that you have a solid foundation. So in setting your goals, it's not just how much do I think I want to make, but it's based on the expenses, the budget that I've set for my business, cash inflow, all of those things that are very important to running a business, considering all those things, and then being able to put together realistic goals based on where your business is at and based on the research that you have done. Now, on to actually setting your goals. So I typically advise that you should have 1 to 3 goals per year. So you might not focus on every single department in your small business. Obviously, you always focus on sales and marketing. You should always have marketing goals for sure, but you might want to prioritize some departments this year in comparison to others. So say this year I want to focus more on my customer service, I want to focus more on my sales and marketing, and I want to focus more on the technology that I use so that I'm able to save more time and make more money, right? So that could be the departments you decide to focus on in this year. Secondly, your corporate or your business goal will include your company's vision and mission statement. And this is something that you've probably heard about before, but I'm going to give you HubSpot's definition of a mission and a vision statement. So according to HubSpot, a mission statement is a simple statement about the goals, values, and objectives of an organization. A mission statement summarizes why a business exists and helps a company respond to change and make decisions that align with its vision. And a vision statement is aspirational and expresses a brand's plan or vision for the future and potential impact on the world. They often serve as a guide for the brand's future goals and explains why customers and employees should stick around with your business for the long haul. So here are a few questions to actually ask yourself when putting together your goals. What exactly is the business? And who are the customers, and what exactly do those customers value? Once you can get answers to these three key questions, you'll get your corporate goals together. Secondly, your business goals will also include your objectives. So goals and objectives tend to be used interchangeably, but there's a difference. And according to HubSpot, a goal is an achievable outcome that is typically broad and long term. A company might use goals to inform yearly strategies that each department will execute. An objective, on the other hand, defines the specific measurable actions that need to be taken in order for the goals to be accomplished, right? So the goals are more on a broader scale in terms of what the business wants to accomplish, but then the objectives are how you actually get there. Thirdly, your goal needs to be SMART, and this is probably a term that you've heard before, but SMART speaks to specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. How exactly would you define growth? So it needs to be very specific, it needs to be something that's realistic. So like I mentioned earlier, starting a business this year and then saying, oh, I want to hit $1 million, when your expenses are in the 200s or your investment is nowhere near $1,000, but somehow you've proposed in your heart that you want to make $1 million. Now, it's not impossible. It would be very difficult to, achieve that, but you're just starting and you want to make $1 million. That would be an example of setting a goal that is very unrealistic. It's definitely not achievable, even though it's specific. So there needs to be a combination of all of these different things when you're setting your goals. So it needs to be specific, but it also needs to be measurable. So you're able to measure it. There's a number to it, right? So I started this year with $200. I want to end this year having made $1,000. That's something that we can measure, right? I want to have grown by 10% in 6 months. Those are things that we can measure, and we know when we are measuring it by. So there needs to be a timeline to the goals that you're setting, because when it comes time to do your report, which is something you should be doing, right? Because there's no point of setting a goal if you're not going to have checkpoints to see if you're getting closer to your goal or if you've achieved that goal at all. So if you don't set checkpoints to actually verify that you're on track to achieving your goal, because by setting checkpoints, you're able to also make any tweaks or changes. So your goals are fixed in stone, but your strategy might get tweaked depending on how things are going. So what I mean by that is, say you set a specific goal to reach 1,000 followers on social media by the end of Q4, right? So at the end of this year, and you've put together a strategy for that. So at different points in the year, you don't wait until you get to Q4 to see, did I achieve it or not? You would have been tracking your progress so far, and making changes to your strategy just in case it's not looking like things are tracking in that direction. So say by Q3 you're still at 750 followers and you haven't been growing at the rate you thought you would, then you would want to perhaps tweak your strategy a little bit. So your goal isn't changing, but the things you're doing to get there, you might have to do some quality control, basically, right? So there's that, making sure that your goals are smart. So I've noticed that every time I set a goal, because I have a mental picture of where it is that I'm going towards, but also not even just a mental picture, I have it written down. It's very important to have your goals written down, but I have it written down that this is what I want to accomplish, and not just in a business setting, right? Even in real life, if you take it out of your head and put it down on paper and you keep tracking your progress towards that goal, it's so much more easier for you to actually accomplish it than saying something once upon a time like, oh, I just want to do this, and then never thinking about it again, and then at the end of the year you're like, oh, it didn't happen. Kind of like we do with our New Year's resolutions. You set a goal January 1st, you don't say how you're going to accomplish that goal, you don't track that goal throughout the year, but then at the end of the year you somehow, maybe even at the beginning of next year, you find that notebook or your vision board and you say, oh, I didn't accomplish this. Well, did you actually put any effort into trying to accomplishing it, or did you set any realistic steps or any strategies to help you accomplish it? It's the same thing with business. You can't just say I want to do something and not put together actionable steps to actually get in there. I can tell you this information for free. You're not going to accomplish what you set out to if you do not put together actionable steps to actually get there. I'll say it again. You will not accomplish your goals if you do not put pen to paper and actually put together actionable steps to get in there. It will end up being a wish in your mind and never actually be accomplished in reality. One last thing that I want to mention is I understand that as a small business your priority is securing the bag and getting the money back from your investment, but the reality of things is sometimes you might not break even, or you could break even but not make profit in your first year. I'm not saying that's the case with everybody, but it's just something to note. As a small business just starting out, you might want to focus more on getting people familiar with your brand. Prioritize goals such as increasing brand awareness and getting your name out there. Just letting people know who you are, because people are not going to purchase from a brand that they know nothing about. Prioritize letting people become familiar with you, what it is you're trying to accomplish, what the problem you're solving is, and what the solution you've come up with is. Make sure those are as clear as possible, rather than focusing more on bombarding people with promotions. It will just appear as though all you're trying to do is make money. Now we know that, but you don't have to throw it in our faces, right? There should be that personable aspect of you and of your brand, like you actually want us to get to know you, and you're showing us that you've gotten to know us through your research and you know what our problems are, and this solution you've come up with is actually the best solution that we needed. We never knew we needed, but now you've come up with it, right? So I would advise that if you're a new small business owner, yes, securing the bag is important, but importanter is increasing brand awareness and getting people familiar, or getting your audience familiar with what it is that you're doing, the problem you're solving, and the solution that you've come up with. I will encourage you to put together 2 to 3 goals based on everything that we've talked about today. Take all of that knowledge, think on it a little bit, and then put together 2 to 3 goals that you want to accomplish this year. We're just at the beginning of Q2, so it's not too late. And if you'd like me to review your goals, send me a DM on Instagram at motarimedia, or you can send me an email at motarimedia@gmail.com, and I would be more than happy to review your goals for you. Until then, I will see you in our next lesson, lesson 3, and we'll be talking about understanding your target audience.